Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're feeling kind of jovial tonight, so I hope that translates over. Welcome back again. My name is Alex, the Savant Heisman.
And I am Paul, the good-looking one Goldberg, for obvious reasons. And anyways, we are the Two Half Jews on Two Half Jews movie reviews at www.twohalfjewsreviews.blogspot.com. Yep, damn, messed up.
Mouthful.
There we go. Anyways, so this week we saw J. Edgar. And Alex, give us some quick background on the movie.
Very quick background. As you may well know, J. Edgar is the story of J. Edgar Hoover, the first head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. Tells pretty much his whole life story. Tries to encapsulate a lot with his homosexual lover, Clyde Tolson, his mother, his secretary, Clint Eastwood. Directed, Leonardo DiCaprio stars. Big supporting cast, Judi Dench, Armie Hammer from The Social Network, Naomi Watts. Personal special shout out to my girlfriend's cousin, Steve Campanelli, who filmed the movie, did all the Steadicam work. So I'm proud of that fact.
Okay. And I'm sorry, did you already mention the writer?
I keep forgetting. Justin Lance Black, this man who wrote Milk, also wrote J. Edgar. And as we'll go into a little bit later, all the problems with this movie start straight from the script, straight from the source of any movie. But we'll, cover that in a bit. Tell us what this movie is actually about.
So, well, just real brief. You stated some things already. It's follows the life of J. Edgar Hoover. It pretty much, for the most part, other than a few scenes, ignores his childhood. Starts straight when he was a young, aspiring member of the Justice Department, and talks about how he was named the acting chief, I guess, of the acting director of the FBI. And how he stopped the communists, the bank robbers, Bruno Hauptmann, who was the one who kidnapped Charles Lindbergh's son. And the movie covers a lot of issues with J. Edgar Hoover, like the fact that he was probably paranoid and maybe he was homosexual but was unable to express it, other things like that. Something important to note, however, his homosexuality and accusations of cross-dressings. That's the route that Eastwood chose to take with this film. However, they are just rumors. They haven't been fully substantiated, but that is Eastwood's interpretation in this movie. Anyways, all right, moving on. So, Alex, tell us your thoughts about it overall.
There is much more that I did not like than I did, so I'll focus on that. It isn't to say I disliked the film, but the script was completely unstructured. It jumped chronologically in time almost incoherently. Very jarring makeup when all these people are old characters. It's just incredibly arresting when you first see the site. Mm-hmm. It fleetingly, is how you and I succinctly said it, very fleetingly touched on only the most important aspects. Obviously, you can't have one man's entire life, such as a controversial figure as this, crammed into a 2-hour, 17-minute movie, but still, it made allusions to the homosexuality, didn't touch on them. It made cross-dressing, didn't touch on them. A redeeming quality, though, was Leo's performance. Leonardo DiCaprio as J. Edgar Hoover was a bit broad and hammy, but this was his most mature work so far. He's growing as an actor. I really appreciate it. Naomi Watts was pretty good. What are your thoughts? Am I off base here?
Not really. I mostly agree with you. Definitely about the script. Like you say, very unstructured. There was no rhyme or reason to any of the flashbacks. It didn't seem like. The film also had a very dark gray look to it, which a lot of Eastwood's do. I think it actually didn't work to this movie's advantage, whereas it has in some of his other films. Leo's performance was alright. It wasn't terrible. It was a bit melodramatic. The accent was definitely affected, and his character was a little bit forced along with some of the actions he took. I thought Armie Hammer did an alright job, actually. I thought he had a fairly consistent character throughout the movie, other than there's one scene where he has an emotional breakdown. I thought he was way over the top in that. You can't really take him seriously. You mentioned the makeup was awful. I personally liken it to a sea monster, as I've told you already. Pretty terrible. The female characters, like you say, are pretty underutilized in the movie. And they never really commit to any particular plot thread, any particular theme. The film just jumps all over the place, and whether that's more on Eastwood or more on the writer, I'm not really sure. I'm inclined, I guess, to say the writer since I've seen tighter works by Eastwood, but in my opinion, it needs to really choose a direction with the characters that it wants to go, with the plot it wants to go, with the themes it wants to go. It needs to choose a direction and stick with it. And I don't think the movie ever really did, and that's my biggest critique.
Yeah, so, I'll completely agree.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't you start out? Give us your star rating out of 5.
This is quite generous. That's not to say overall I dislike the film completely, but quite generously, I'm going to go with a 2 out of 5, 1.5 out. That's a comfortable, D plus, C minus range. What do you think?
I'm going right with you. 2 out of 5. Same as you. The movie was okay. It had redeeming qualities. It actually did have elements where you could see that it could be pretty good, but it failed on those for the most part. So overall, I didn't like it, but it wasn't terrible. So that's why I say 2 out of 5 stars. So, anyways, well, anyone who's watched so far knows that Alex we call him the savant because in terms of the Academy Awards, he is a savant and can pretty much name any fact he wants. So why don't you give us your Oscar spin on this movie, Alex?
We're trying to incorporate visuals, so imagine, if you will, we're thinking of something like Alex's Oscar Corner. I have never, mind you, in my 9 years of doing this, seen anything, even before actually opening, tank so spectacularly in terms of such a big contender. A couple weeks ago, I incorporated it into my Oscar season overview. You can immediately rule out picture and director. This movie will not have enough fans to make it onto those ballots. No supporting players whatsoever because the roles are so undefined and Armie Hammer's hammy. Hey, no pun intended. Leo, however, I will see making it on because he is Leo in a Clint Eastwood movie. Such an ambitious, mature project. Personally, I have him 4 out of 5 right now in line to win. So much like Clint Eastwood films out of late in terms of resonating with the Academy, I can see it 3 at most nominations, Leo, and possibly 2 techs, like a production design and sound or something. It had wonderful gunshots. So.
There we go, gunshots. All right, and real quick, tell us about the parody you have for us.
Oh, yes, this is why I've been so jovial. I actually like this parody much more than I did the movie. On Funny or Die, we're going to include the link. That's Will Ferrell's website. Somebody made a satire, a parody of the J. Edgar trailer that I laughed real hard because it encapsulates all my Oscar work, all that aspect of my life. Paul, it was applicable to you as well.
It's pretty damn.
Please watch it. It's a riot.
Yeah, we'll post a link under this video.
Also, stay tuned. I have an article about Taxi Driver coming out, and Paul will have one soon. I don't know what our next recording will be. We're still talking that over.
But anyways, okay, all right. Well, thank you guys for watching. This was real fun.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, hope you guys learned something. So I am Paul, the good-looking one, Goldberg, saying goodbye.
What a good-looking kid you are. I'm Alex the Savant saying, see ya.
There we go. All right. Hope to see you guys in a few weeks. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned.